of you being here today on such a cold day. Thank you. And you know what? Give yourselves a round of applause. God bless you all. And I'm here, of course, with my wife, Marianne, who's by my side every step of the way, just phenomenal. State Representative Doreen Costa, Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee, General Representative Santraccio, and, of course, Rep. Blake Filippi. And thank you all for supporting us today.
Councilwoman Camille Vella-Wilkinson.
And, of course, where is she here?
Councilwoman Wilkinson.
Councilwoman, come on up. And this is a very dear friend, and you all know her as an amazing advocate. State Representative Eileen Norton as well. And Councilwoman Camille Vella-Wilkinson, what you all know, is an advocate for veterans as well. As you see by the banner hanging up, it is my goal. And let's make this clear. I'm a freshman representative from the city of Cranston. I am not the governor. I am not the Speaker of the House. I am not the Senate President. But for me, it is my intention, hopefully, to be able to declare 2016 Year of the Veteran. And I will be introducing a resolution on the floor today to do just that. And I also want you to know that I also, on behalf of all of us, I have a small gift that I'll be giving the Speaker on our behalf as well, on behalf of you and me. So that's kind of exciting too. And you're all certainly welcome to come into chambers for a few minutes if you'd like when the session starts as well. But in any case, let's get started. If any good exercise or whatever we have, let's start as we would always do with the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is behind me. If you're military, right hand salute. If you're not, hand over heart. So right hand salute, ladies and gentlemen, if you're military. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. And now, the national anthem. Ms. Cheryl Albright, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they prove through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free, and the home of the home of the brave?
Now I'll tell you, when I went to Newport, my captain, we do a lot of ceremonial things at Newport. I was assigned to the chapel in some of the schools. But we were going to our first ceremony together, and he said to me, "Chaplain, you keep it short, I'll keep it short, and we'll get out of here." So we want to be appropriate, but we don't want to be overly talky. So we want to make this an appropriate time, say what we came to say. So I want to give each of the elected representatives here and, of course, the general an opportunity to say hello. So I'm going to start with Representative Doreen Costa, North Kingstown.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for coming out on this cold and windy day. I know I'm sorry. First of all, since I got elected in 2010, I have served on the Veterans Affairs Committee. It's my 5th term now on that committee, and I'm proud to be there because I feel like I'm fighting for every one of you out here, and I am the voice for you up at the State House. And thank you for the letters, and thank you for the cards and the well wishes. Another thing, most of you know that I am from North Kingstown, and right now my mission is to save the Quonset Air Museum. And I know a lot of you are nodding your head. I will do everything I can to save the aviation history in the state of Rhode Island and in Quonset. It means so much to me. It means so much to Quonset as well as the North Kingstown residents, and to every person in here that flew one of their planes, that had somebody in their family fly one of those planes. And I will continue to fight for all the military. And again, thank you so much for your service. God bless you all. Thank you.
Next, Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee.
Thank you, Rep. Thank you, Rep. So the rep's in my office a few weeks back says he's going to do something for the veterans. He asked me whether I want to be involved. I said, absolutely. So I'm happy to be here today and support the efforts, just as I did when I was a mayor, and I will continue to do as Lieutenant Governor. We hosted Operation Stand Down in our community of Cumberland. We certainly supported all the Veterans Day and Memorial Day activities. And as Lieutenant Governor, we get to support the veterans in a number of ways, including helping get the chair for the recognizing the POWs and the missing in action veterans right here at the State House, which was something that I was asked to help make happen, just as I did as my last act for the veterans in the town of Cumberland. We actually have the first MIA chair in our council chambers right now. So working with the reps and the senators, it's great to be on an issue that is not a partisan issue, just like, by the way, education is. And that is one of my first calls was to the general to meet with him and have lunch with him and talk about emergency management in the state of Rhode Island and the veterans issue. So we'll continue to do that and support any way we can. So thank you for the invite to be here.
Gentleman that needs no introduction.
First of all, there's one thing about saying something, and then there's something about doing something. This is doing something. Just a quick word about command influence. When we had the uniforms on, you couldn't tell anybody to do anything that was out of line. Well, this isn't out of line, so I'm asking each of you to apply that command influence. Talk to people, ask them to participate in this republic. We elect people to represent us. This is a time for you now to get people to saturate this place, come to the hearings, make your voice well heard, and get everybody you can possibly get here to participate. Rhode Island is the last state in New England with absolutely no veterans benefits. That can't continue to be. Maine just passed its full package. Rhode Island needs to come up and supersede everybody else. One last thing, and I'm not sure if you're going to cover it, but it has to do with we could perhaps have a few more people here. They're in Florida because there's no state tax there. They're in Massachusetts, no state tax there. They're in Vermont, New Hampshire, and many other places across this country. Rhode Island needs to be number one to keep our veterans in Rhode Island because that's where we serve and that's where we want to eventually go. Thank you.
Right here. A very dear friend, Vice Chair of the Veterans Committee, Mr. Representative Sam Azzanaro. Just quick hello. Hello. I know you've been involved for a while.
Yes, hello, and thank you for coming out today. These are things that we have to work on. We're working on this every year in our Veterans Affairs Committee, and to take care of our veterans, top priority for us. So thank you. We will never forget you. We will keep working for you. Thank you.
And Representative Riley from the East Bay.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today, and most importantly, thank you for your service to the state and to our nation. Thank you to Representative Lancia for hosting us and putting this event together. The General took all the wind out of my sails, which is not entirely unexpected. But this year, along with Representative Lancia, I have the honor and the privilege of introducing legislation to eliminate the income tax on military pensions, which is extremely important, not only for everyone in this room today, but for the economy of our state. I have the privilege of representing Portsmouth and Middletown on beautiful Quinnipiac Island, and I have a large population of veterans and people who are currently serving aboard Naval Station Newport. And they have told me time and time again, I remember hearing it on the campaign trail last year as I went door to door to door. I had people telling me, people who weren't even in the military, who were angry that their neighbors kept moving, and they were moving to Massachusetts of all places. I think whenever we can make Massachusetts a tax-friendly state, I think that's a time we need to improve something here in Rhode Island, and it's about time. We've scored the bill. It's not that much money, but it's an investment that I think we need to make, and we need to make it this year. So I hate to be a one-issue guy, but I know it's a big issue for me. It's a big issue for all of you. It's a big issue for Representative Lancia and all the legislators up here. So thank you for being here, but the fight continues because we need your support as we push this legislation and others. And if your voice can't be heard and you can't be seen like you are today, it'll be that much more difficult for us to get things passed. So thank you for being here, and the fight goes on. We look forward to having your support.
And next, I'm going to ask Representative Eileen Norton to come up. And you sit on Finance, correct?
And Veterans Committee.
And Veterans Committee. So a great advocate for veterans.
First, I want to say thank you so much for your service. I'm the spouse of a retired U.S. Army man, so I have some idea of what you did for your country and for your fellow Americans. So it was heartfelt thanks that I want to acknowledge that today. The General gave us quite an agenda. I'd like to add that our neighbor to the south, Connecticut, gives 50% off on tax. New York, Pennsylvania have all joined the efforts in helping our veterans live back in society. I'm very happy to be working on this agenda. I've worked to try to end homelessness with Operation Stand Down. Easter Seals is starting support for veterans' families. It is not enough. We need to do more. So I am right with this agenda and look forward to getting it accomplished.
And next, Representative Blake Filippi, like myself, a freshman, and look forward to a couple of words from him as well.
Thank you. And I'll be brief, too. I echo everything my colleagues have said. I think we need to do a better job in this country honoring the sacrifice of our veterans. I've seen statistics recently about the number of suicides, especially from soldiers returning home from our recent conflicts, and it's simply unacceptable, the number of suicides and veterans' homelessness. I want to thank Representative Costa and Azzanaro for serving on the committee, but I want to take a moment and recognize Representative Lancia, because we share an office. And day in and day out, this man's passion for honoring the service of his colleagues in the armed services, it's palpable. You can feel it. Everything he does revolves around honoring the sacrifices that all of you have made. So I just personally want to recognize him and thank him for that, and thank him for today.
And certainly not least, not last, Councilwoman Camille Vella-Wilkinson, and many of you know her from many of her activities, and I'd like to give her an opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Rep. Lancia. I wanted to thank the members of the delegation who are here today. But most of all, I would turn my comments to my brothers and sisters of uniform. I am a retired Navy officer. That was all active duty, like many of you, active, reserve, whatever it was that brought the uniform on you. You answered the call to your country. Do you hear the call of the state of Rhode Island? Rhode Island needs solid leadership. They need you. They need you, brothers and sisters, to run for school committees. They need you to run for city and town councils. They need you to run for the General Assembly and for the Senate. The state of Rhode Island needs our leadership. They need a compass, and we should be the ones providing that compass. It's not enough when you have your elected officials coming with a little yellow ribbon on the lapel. I'm not interested in ribbon. If I want ribbon, I'll go to Joann's Fabric and I'll buy plenty of ribbon. I want action. Do you want action? Yes. Well, if your elected officials aren't giving you the action that you want and then you deserve, by God, you become the elected official and give us the action we want and we deserve.
Okay, and so I think we've covered our officials here. I want to also recognize Senator G. He was here a moment ago. Senator G was here. I want to make sure. We always love it because they always say G, G-E-E, but it's G. So definitely want to recognize him. But I just want to touch briefly. Representative Taban is here today, so I want to say hello. Another freshman, fellow freshman from Central Falls. Round of applause for Representative. And Representative Solomon, too, up in the gallery there from Warwick. These are your friends. These are people that have your best interests at heart. Now, I just want to touch base. What did I put in? What have I put in? Well, like Representative Riley, put in a bill for no tax on military pensions. The time has come. This is the year. Our military, even though they retire, they don't retire because we know what we do. We volunteer. The power, the brains, the experience. We get other jobs. We finance this economy. I don't want to hear about people, I just live over the line in Connecticut. I come when I need to. I live over the line in Massachusetts. We want them in this state helping us to turn this state around. Secondly, I'm proposing, as I did last year, a $1 million fund for veterans to help start small businesses with concierge service. Now, I know that Commerce RI has a pot of money, $5.4 million. I'd love $1 million of that. But if I can't get that, then we'll try it another way. But we have an opportunity. We have a lot of returning veterans, and I've only been in a year, but when I walked my district when I was running, I can't tell how many young men I met who said, I'm out of the service, going nowhere, doing nothing. We need to change that. The third initiative, 3% contracting preference for veterans. There was a job at the Veterans Cemetery, I understood, talking to one of the veterans, that a veteran-owned business could have done the job. 200-something plus thousand. Would have been a great job. Those kind of things. The fourth one, which I was at the breakfast, Martin Luther King breakfast in the morning at Rhodes, and then at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in the afternoon. And I heard Mayor Elorza say, there's an initiative in Providence to rehab every house in the city of Providence. He's using local people, local contractors, and I thought, and this is Meal from the Military Officers Association, East Bay. He listened to me speak. He was writing some notes, and he came to me and said, you know, Chaplain, he said, wouldn't it be great if we could take our returning veterans, train them, partner them up with the building trades, teach them plumbing, electrical, these kinds of things. Let them help rehab houses with the option at the end of hopefully buying that home. Wouldn't that be a fantastic initiative? So that's my fourth we're working on, and the other three are in. Senator Archambault is here. Senator? Senator Metz is here as well. Now, I just want to close. Didn't want to take a lot of time, but I want to close with this. You know, people say, you know, I was a chaplain. I went on active duty. I was almost 40 years old. Went around, did quite a few things. But why is this so personal to me? Because my older brother, God bless him, just died over the summer. 13 months exactly older than I was. 20 years, Army enlisted. Stayed back here so we graduated together. Well, after he served his time, he developed cancer. Went and had all things you have done. He had the bag. Called me up because he lived in Georgia because of cost of living, a lot of other things. Called me up and he said, I'm cancer-free. A few months later, early summer, he calls me up and he says, cancer's back. Now it's in my lungs, my rectum, my abdomen. Gone like that. Early on in my career, I got invited to go to Camp Massasoit to visit the camp for the Cranston YMCA. Nice article they did on me in the Cranston Herald. Rep Lancia makes visit to YMCA's Camp Massasoit. What I didn't know is that on the opposite page was my brother's obituary. And this wasn't your normal obituary. This was a little special obituary written by my nephew. And I just want to share a little bit of it because it speaks to military and military mindset, and I hope you can resonate this, and I'm going to close with this. Sergeant Raymond Bernardo Lancia, U.S. Army retired, 62, died peacefully at home Saturday, August 8, 2015 from complications due to cancer. Unconfirmed reports contributed at least a portion of his ailment to a lightning strike years ago that gave him an extraordinary ability to light up a room, chase away demons, crooks, frowns, bad attitudes, spiders, and Georgia gnats. Born in Rhode Island in 1952, Ray loved the Green Bay Packers, the New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Lakers, Notre Dame football, and North Carolina basketball. Ray spent 20 years as a military intelligence analyst in the U.S. Army. Regardless of the oxymoron in his job title, he made it clear when asked he could tell you more, but then he'd have to kill you. After retiring, he spent a couple of years as a manager of a Walmart, but left when his addiction to stuffed animals that sing and dance left him humming off-key Christmas carols at all hours of the day. He jumped at the opportunity to resume working with soldiers and spent a decade serving and saving the environment and teaching at Fort Stewart, Georgia. He taught soldiers how to properly deal with hazardous materials. His teammates in that job could never confirm his participation in office pranks involving, a fart machine. But anyone subjected to one of his jokes knows he was probably in the thick of the action. By day, Ray was your everyday retired Army man, but after hours, when he donned his cape and went out about the business of saving the world, he fostered troubled children, counseled troubled marriages, preached at the Redsville GSP facility, and generally leapt over tall buildings in a single bound. He loved his wife Kathleen with all his heart and was known to elicit a groan from his many children, 3 biological and too many adopted to count, and 10 grandchildren, due to an unabashed public display of affection and bad dad jokes. That's my brother. God bless him. He's the gentleman that I'm dedicating, or want to dedicate 2016. A man who not only served his time, but gave back even when the cancer was killing him. He gave back. And that's what military folks do. We don't give up. We don't stop. We keep moving forward. And we make a difference. That's what we're about. When we take that oath, we never take that uniform off. And it is the year to honor our veterans, and this is the year 2016. So I want to again thank you for all being here today. This means a lot, and as the General said, when it comes time for the hearings, we're going to be reaching out to you. We're going to continue to have a once monthly meeting where we get together and keep kicking around some ideas. You know, just to close, there's 750,000 veterans in North Carolina. They got a $7 million grant from the Walmart Foundation, some of which they used to create a compendium of veterans services and a single guide. Wouldn't that be a great thing to have? A single guide with veterans services. They got $7 million. We have the second highest deployment rate in the country. Couldn't we get a portion of that? We're going to be working on that. That's what we're going to be working. Things like that. These are the kind of things with great folks. There's great organizations. We want to partner and pull everybody together. I got invited to the Vets Court down at Kent County Courthouse. We're going to be working with those folks. Veterans, troubled veterans coming back that need help. We've got to be there for those folks who are ready to give everything, in some cases did. We will not forget you. We will fight for you ever and ever. God love you all. Amen.
General Capalbo, come on down, please. As perhaps most of you know, there's a tradition in the United States military, and it's called a command coin. You know it? Yep. Don't tell anybody. We would like to present this coin to you as a matter of recognizing excellence, and that's what a coin is all about. So General Capalbo represents the Army Reserve, and I, the Guard, and all of us serving in uniform. Now, this coin represents... Is it on now?
No. Gotta flip the switch, sir. Don't need that. Good thing. There we go.
Is it on now? Did you hear what I said before? Okay, I'll say it again. In the United States military, we have a tradition. It's called a command coin. And when you present this coin, it represents all of us presently serving and have served, and especially veterans. We recognize this is doing something and not saying something. So we'd like to present this coin to you on behalf of all of us who have served and presently serving. Thank you so much. So please accept it. Now, at each and every hearing you have from this time on, you need to look at that coin. It represents, in Rhode Island, approximately 65,000 veterans. So you got 65,000 people in your hand. We have people out here that can relate to that, and we ask once again, when these hearings are promulgated, please show up. We'd like to be able to move this meeting across the street to a larger venue if we need to, but we need to show up. And closing, the unofficial, first of all, that's only worth $5. So you don't have to report to the ethics committee. Right? Secondly, the secondary meaning is anytime you're seen by any of us who have coins, if you're challenged, you need to have that coin in your hand.
Yes, sir.
If you don't, you buy the drinks.
Yes, sir.
And I know that General Capalbo has also challenged people when they're in the shower.
Oh, there we go. Got it right there.
You got it?
Already.
Good. Listen, God bless, and we hope this is the year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And this concludes our time together this afternoon. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you. We'll be in touch.